It was a bright, clear afternoon when 9-year-old Ayan boarded the small single-engine aircraft with his father, Captain Rehan, a seasoned pilot who had flown for over 2 decades. They were only meant to take a short sightseeing flight over the coast, a routine trip his father had made countless times. Ayan, ever curious and bright, had always admired airplanes and had spent countless hours watching his father work, absorbing everything like a sponge. He could recite the parts of a plane, identify the different gauges, and even understood basic radio communication thanks to his father's patient instruction. That day, however, would prove to be anything but routine. As they soared above the glistening water, Ayan sat in the co-pilot seat, wearing a large green headset that dwarfed his small ears, his eyes wide with wonder and excitement. Suddenly, about 45 minutes into the flight, Captain Rehan began to slur his words and clutch his chest. Alarmed, Ayan turned toward him, his young face quickly shifting from joy to terror. Within seconds, his father collapsed against the controls. Unconscious, the plane jolted slightly, beginning a slow descent as the steady hum of the engine seemed to shift in tone. Ayan's heart pounded, his hands trembled. But deep inside, the foundation his father had unknowingly built kicked in. He took a deep breath, remembering the first thing his father had always said, "Fly the plane first." Ayan gently reached for the yoke, gripping it with hands that had never truly flown solo before. He straightened the aircraft, keeping it level, as best he could, just as he had practiced in flight simulators at home. The instruments blinked in front of him, and though he couldn't fully interpret them all, he remembered the attitude indicator, the altimeter, and the heading display. Basics that his father had pointed out time and again. He looked at the radio, unsure how to communicate. After a few seconds of hesitation, he grabbed the mic. His voice, high-pitched but steady, echoed in the small cabin. "Mayday, mayday. I'm just a kid, and my dad is unconscious. Please help." For a few agonizing moments there was nothing but static. Then a calm voice responded, "Aircraft calling Mayday. We hear you. Stay calm. Can you tell us your location and aircraft type?" Ayan stammered, reading off what he could see on the dash, the plane's tail number and whatever headings he could find. Air traffic control quickly pieced together the details and locked onto his signal. In the background, emergency protocol kicked in. A controller with flight experience, a former pilot herself, took over and began speaking to Ayan with clarity and composure, as though she were guiding her own child. "You're doing great. Just keep the wings level. Can you see the horizon?" Ayan glanced outside and nodded. "Yes, it's right there." "Good. Keep that horizon straight in the middle of the windshield. Now look down. See the altimeter. Keep that needle steady." Ayan followed every instruction, nodding even though no one could see him. The controller guided him through basic maneuvers, slowly helping him circle toward a small regional airstrip not far from their location. On the ground, fire trucks and ambulances were already assembling, alerted to the unfolding situation. Meanwhile, paramedics on the radio gave instructions on what signs to watch for in his father's condition. Though overwhelmed, Ayan stayed focused, glancing between his dad, the sky, and the controls. Every second felt like an hour. Yet, he didn't cry. He didn't panic. Somewhere inside, something bigger than fear had taken over. A responsibility, far beyond his years. "Okay, Ayan, you're lined up for the runway," the controller said gently. "Now just like we practiced. Slowly reduce power. Pull back just a little. You're doing amazing." The small aircraft descended gradually, the runway approaching fast. Ayan's hands, though trembling, moved with surprising steadiness. The plane bounced once, twice, not a perfect landing, but safe enough. As it rolled to a stop at the end of the runway, cheers erupted from the emergency team on the ground. The door flew open, and medics rushed in. tending to Captain Rehan, as Ayan finally exhaled the breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. His knees gave way as the adrenaline wore off, and he was lifted from the seat by rescuers who couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. In the days that followed, news outlets around the world picked up the story. "Kid saves plane. You won't believe what happened next," screamed headlines from every direction. Interviews flooded in. Pilots, engineers, even astronauts praised his courage and calm. But Ayan didn't care about the fame. All he wanted was for his father to wake up, and he did. 3 days later, Captain Rehan opened his eyes in the hospital, surrounded by machines and the quiet beep of a heart monitor. Ayan was there, clutching his hand, and when their eyes met, not a single word had to be spoken. His son had saved his life. Investigations confirmed that Captain Rehan had suffered a minor heart attack mid-flight, and had Ayan not taken control, the outcome would have been tragic. Instead, the aviation world celebrated a miracle, not just of skill, but of heart, of trust between a father and son. Aviation schools began sharing Ayan's story as part of their emergency training seminars. Children across the globe looked up to him, not as a superhero, but as proof that courage has no age. One aviation academy even offered Ayan a scholarship, on the spot saying, "When you're ready, we'd be honored to have you learn with us." Despite the accolades, Ayan remained humble, often repeating the same line in every interview. "I just did what my dad taught me." Months later, back at the same small airstrip, Ayan and his father stood side by side. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow across the tarmac. Rehan, now fully recovered, placed his arm around his son's shoulder. "Ready to fly again?" he asked with a grin. Ayan smiled, his eyes sparkling. "Only if I get to land this time." And with that, they climbed into the cockpit once more, this time as a team, bonded forever by the day a child did the impossible and saved not just a plane, but the heart of his family.